Hi, I'm Lansect, proprietor of the Woodsman Shop. Today we're going to talk a little bit about knives. I've got some really interesting knives here, inexpensive, high quality knives. Not everybody is a knife enthusiast, not everybody has drawers full of knives, not everybody wants to take the time and spend hours on a forum trying to figure out what's the best knife. You just want a knife that's going to get the job done, it's going to do it simple, efficiently, effectively. I have a brand here that does all of that. This is unfortunately not very well known in America. It's called Mora knife. They used to be called Mora, but in the rest of the world it's a household word. Anywhere in Scandinavia, Europe, Britain, this is a very common knife, a very common all-purpose knife, hunting knife. They never really advertise themselves that well in America, and it's a shame. It's been for the past 100 years probably the single best value in a knife. This particular one here, called the Mora Knife Companion, can be had in many different places for less than 20 bucks. What you're getting for that is a really high quality sheath made out of Swedish plastic. I gotta stress the quality of a product made in Sweden. The quality of these knives made in Sweden is absolutely no comparison to even the best of the best made in China. What you're seeing when you go into most big box stores are a bunch of poorly made, although not necessarily inexpensive, Chinese knives. They just don't perform that well, they don't hold up that well. But what you're looking at with these Swedish knives is something that's going to perform well, hold up phenomenally well, give you a lifetime of service, and then you have the fringe benefit of the fact that they're so inexpensive. I mean, less than 20 bucks, you got a great knife. So, handle is made out of a really grippy rubbery material. The blade itself is about 4 inches long. It has a tang that runs about 3/4 of the length down. It's fixed in there very solidly. You're not going to break the handle off. The handle's not going to fall apart. The blade's not going to fall out. It's just not going to happen with one of these. The blade itself is a nice general purpose shape, and it has an interesting feature. All of these knives, as I'll show you, share the same common feature. The edge actually is shaped like a V. We'll do a little close-up later, but it's called a Scandinavian grind, or a V-grind. It makes it a very useful knife without getting into a lot of detail. It performs well, but another side benefit of that is it's very easy to sharpen. When you go to sharpen it, all you do is, and we'll do a close-up of that later, you just lay it where it's flat on that little V right there, and then you sharpen away. It doesn't take any skill. Anybody can figure out how to sharpen one of these things intuitively, literally immediately. So this is the Mora Companion. Stepping up a little bit, we've got the Mora Fire Knife. This is a very innovative knife. It's a little more petite than the Mora Companion, a little bit shorter, a little more svelte. It has in the handle, built right in, it just snaps right in, snaps right out. And again, high quality Swedish plastic. It's not going to break. These hold up a long time. A Swedish ferrocium rod, a fire steel. So the back of this knife is profiled in such a way that it's set up to use with this fire steel, and we'll do a demo of that. I'm sure most of you are familiar with what a fire steel is. At any rate, you throw large sparks by dragging the back spine of the knife along this steel right here. It'll throw a stream of sparks which can be used to ignite tinder, and you can get yourself a fire going. Waterproof, doesn't matter if this thing gets wet out in the rain, it's still going to make sparks, and then that just snaps right in there. So that's called the Light My Fire. It's a collaboration between Swedish company Light My Fire and Mora. Stepping up to another grade is kind of a more heavy-duty version of the Light My Fire. This is a Mora survival knife. It's called the Bushcraft Survival. It's their most heavy-duty knife. The sheath itself is very clever, very innovative. It has a built-in, really heavy-duty, really thick fire steel here. Also has a built-in diamond sharpener, again made in Sweden. You can take your knife, and as I was discussing before, you lay it right on that flat part right there of the grind, and very easy to sharpen. Wherever you are, you know you have the ability to make fire, and you have the ability to keep your knife sharp. It comes with 2 different types of belt loops. This is a solid loop. It also comes with a clip that opens up like this, so you can swap them out depending on how you like to carry the knife. The knife itself is very substantial. It's a lot smaller than some big heavy-duty choppers, but this is all you really need. I say it's a substantial knife in the sense that of the other ones they make, this is the most heavy-duty one. It has a nice, full, really grippy, rubber-like handle. Probably one of the most comfortable handles I've ever felt on any knife before. Doesn't matter if it gets wet or greasy or anything, it's just a really great texture to the material. The blade itself is profiled on the back so that you can use it with fire steel. It's a little bit thicker than the companion knife, so it's very tough if you ever had to use it in a prying task. The blade is about 4 inches long, a little bit longer than that, and then the tang runs all the way, so it goes all the way to the end. So if you ever needed to hammer with it, it's tough. It's not going to fall apart. The blade is not going to come out of here. The handle's not going to fall apart. Very, very tough knife. The steel on this is super high quality Swedish carbon steel. It has a black coating on it. We also have one that's identical, except that this is orange. Same knife in every respect, but it's orange. It's great if you set your knife down in the woods, you don't want to lose it, can't beat orange. You're going to have a heck of a lot of easier time finding it than black. This one comes with a stainless steel blade, like the Mora Companion. Comparing the Swedish stainless steel to the Swedish carbon steel, there's very little difference. This is quite a contrast to traditional American stainless steels, traditional carbon steels. American stainless steels and carbon steels are quite a bit different in the sense that carbon steel has a reputation of being easier to sharpen, and stainless steel has the reputation of being pretty tough to sharpen. Not so with the Swedish knives. Both of these, if you were in a blind taste test, you'd have a hard time unless you're, really proficient and really an expert in this field. You'd have a really hard time telling the difference. Both of these are easy to sharpen. Both of them hold an edge for a really long time. They're going to perform the same. If you're really picky about getting any rust on your blade, go with the stainless steel. If you're going to use it around salt water or salt air or some of the southern states, I would go with the stainless steel. Northern states or areas where it's more dry, the carbon steel is fine. It really just comes down to a preference. Do you like orange or do you like black? That's about it. They're going to perform well either way. So there you have it. This is the Mora Survival Ultimate, the Mora Light My Fire knife, and then the basic, inexpensive Mora Companion.